Okay, the next chapter, the bishop at work. The next day at sunrise, Monsieur Benvenu was walking in the garden. Madame Magloire ran toward him quite beside herself. Monsieur, monsieur, she cried, does your lordship know where the silver basket is? Yes, said the bishop. Good God be praised, she said. I did not know what had become of it. The bishop had just found the basket on a flower bed. He gave it to Madame Magloire and said, here it is. Yes, she said, but there's nothing in it. Where's the silver? Ah, said the bishop. It's the silver, then, that troubles you. I don't know where that is. Good heavens, it's stolen. The man who came last night stole it. And in the twinkling of an eye, with all the agility of her age, Madame Magloire ran to the oratory, went into the alcove, and came back to the bishop. The bishop was bending with some sadness over a collier des Gaulomes when the basket had broken and falling. At Madame Maglorie's cry, he looked up. Monsieur, the man is gone, the silver stolen. While she was uttering this exclamation, her eyes fell on a corner of the garden where she saw traces of the escape. A capstone of the wall had been dislodged. See, that's where he got out. He jumped into Cochefilet Lane. The wretch, he stole our silver. The bishop was silent for a moment. Then, raising his serious eyes, he said mildly to Madame Magloire, now first, did the silver belong to us? Madame Magloire was speechless. After a moment, the bishop continued, Madame Magloire, for a long time I have wrongfully been withholding the silver. It belonged to the poor. Who was this man? A poor man, quite clearly. Alas, alas, returned Madame Magloire, it's not on my account or mademoiselle, it's all the same to us, but it's for you, monsieur. What is monsieur going to eat with now? The bishop looked at her with amusement. But don't we have any pewter cutlery? Madame Magloire shrugged her shoulders. Pewter smells. Well then, iron? Madame Magloire grimaced. Iron has a taste. Well then, said the bishop, wooden implements. In a few minutes he was breakfasting at the table where Jean Valjean sat the night before. While breakfasting, Monsieur Benvenu pleasantly remarked to his sister, who said nothing, and Madame Magloire, who was grumbling to herself, that there was really no need even of a wooden spoon or fork to dip a piece of bread into a cup of milk. Was there ever such an idea, said Madame Magloire to herself as she went back and forth, to take in a man like that, and to give him a bed at his side, and yet, what a blessing, he did nothing but steal. Oh, good Lord, it gives me the chills just to think of it. As the brother and sister were rising from the table, there was a knock at the door. Come in, said the bishop. The door opened. A strange, fierce group appeared on the threshold. 3 men were holding a fourth by the collar. The 3 men were gendarmes, the fourth Jean Valjean. A brigadier of gendarmes, who appeared to head the group, was near the door. He advanced toward the bishop, giving a military salute. Monsieur, he said. At this word, Jean Valjean, who was sullen and seemed entirely dejected, raised his head with a stupefied air. Monsieur, he murmured, then it is not the curé. Silence, said the gendarme. It is his lordship, the bishop. In the meantime, Monsieur Benvenu had approached as quickly as his great age permitted. Ah, there you are, he said, looking at Jean Valjean. I'm glad to see you. But I gave you the candlesticks too, which are silver like the rest, and would bring 200 francs. Why didn't you take them along with your cutlery? Jean Valjean opened his eyes and looked at the bishop with an expression no human tongue could describe. Monseigneur, said the brigadier, then what this man said was true? We met him. He was acting like a fugitive, and we arrested him in order to find out. He had the silver. And he told you, interrupted the bishop with a smile, that it had been given to him by a good old priest at whose house he had slept? I see it all. And you brought him back here? It's all a mistake. If that's so, said the brigadier, we can let him go. Please do, replied the bishop. The gendarmes released Jean Valjean, who shrank back. Is it true they're letting me go? He muttered, as if talking in his sleep. Yes, you can go. Don't you understand? Said a gendarme. My friend, said the bishop, before you go away, here are your candlesticks. Take them. He went to the mantelpiece, took the 2 candlesticks, and handed them to Jean Valjean. The 2 women observed without a word, gesture, or look that could disturb the bishop. Jean Valjean was trembling all over. He took the 2 candlesticks distractedly with a bewildered expression. Now, said the bishop, go in peace. By the way, my friend, when you come again, you needn't come through that garden. You can always come and go by the front door. It is only closed with a latch, day or night. Then turning to the gendarmes, he said, Messieurs, you may go. The gendarmes left. Jean Valjean felt like a man about to faint. The bishop approached him and said in a low voice, do not forget ever that you have promised me to use this silver to become an honest man. Jean Valjean, who had no recollection of any such promise, stood dumbfounded. The bishop had stressed these words as he spoke to them. He continued solemnly, Jean Valjean, my brother, you no longer belong to evil, but to good. It is your soul I am buying for you. I withdraw it from dark thoughts and from the spirit of perdition, and I give it to God. Okay, make sure you pull quotes on this, because this interchange is life-changing for Jean Valjean. And you'll see how that comes into effect later.